It's that time of the week. It's Friday, going into the weekend on a good note with another brand new episode from the Beyond Expedition podcast with the two most favorite co-hosts in the entire world, myself, Eduardo, and my boy, the return of the White Rhino, aka Bretticus Maximus. He's back, my boy Brett. Here we
Yeah,
are, brother. I mean, I missed you. I mean, I don't know if you could tell that I was struggling on that solo episode. Check it out; it's already out now on all streaming platforms. Um, it's not
you
the same
took
amount,
you
my
took
boy.
care of the penthouse though. It looked good. Yeah, looked
Oh,
good
dude,
when I
thank
got
you.
it.
I mean, many people don't know Brett has a lot of different real estates all over the country here in lovely US of A.
Hmm.
So anytime we need to move or we need to make a scene, he just says, "Yo, go stay at the suite or go stay at the condo over there and just
Yeah,
return an episode. Just make sure you clean it. Don't let any homeless people walking up in there, and we'll be gravy." So
yeah,
hey, make sure we're good. So it was solid. Thank you
and
so
don't
much.
don't leave no streaks in the toilet either. That's a pet peeve of mine.
Oh man, but yes,
You know,
it was an awesome episode, man. But before we start on this journey of ours for this episode, I want to ask you the most important question of the day. How are you today, brother?
man, I am. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So much is happening right now that it's
Okay.
just like I feel like on my spiritual level is being tested, but being the spiritual gangster that I am, I just take it in stride,
Okay.
you know.
Okay. So it's one of life's many bumps that it throws your way, I guess you can say.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
watching the things go down in Maui the way they are, like so
Oh,
secretive and all
dude.
that. Watching our
Okay.
Lord and Savior get his mugshot, you know, which
Let's
I
do it.
can't
Okay,
wait to
let's
wear the
let's
shirt.
let's let's dive in. Let's just dive in right now while it's hot. Okay, so the whole Maui situation, right? Definitely such a catastrophic event. Definitely it's unfortunate that it was just a lot of people lost their homes, a lot of people lost just everything they've worked so hard for. It's so tragic, man. It's crazy. And I was just trying to figure out how this all came about. But of course, always there's always the conspiracies that make its way through the interwebs, and you hear about this and that this caused it. No, this happened. No, that's what started it. There's a bunch of stuff, right? And of course, I got my walking Google here. He's here to fill me in as much as he's going to fill the rest of you folks who are listening to this or watching this podcast on YouTube. What really transpired from what we know as professionals here, baby, because you get your news from us, right? Well, what we like to call news, right? So okay, let's wind time. This happened about a couple weeks ago, correct? Just
Yeah,
so we have a nice precise
yeah.
time frame, right? And all I know it had to do with some heavy winds, power lines that should have been off, correct? And these heavy winds
Yep.
definitely caused it to where obviously some spark, I'm assuming, started a fire somewhere, and it just started taking wildfire, and it just ran through this area in Maui. Now,
That's one
well,
version.
that's one version. Okay, so what other versions have you heard? Let's just go off that because it's very interesting to hear this type of stuff on what people have said
Yeah.
or the rumblings, I guess, within the interwebs, right? So, what are some other things you've heard? Fill me in, as the rest
Well,
of the people too.
you know, I know that I've heard a lot of different things, but X, formerly known as Twitter,
Okay.
has been gracious enough to allow a lot of these different perspectives, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
from the locals. I
Mm-hmm.
guess YouTube was just any video that was coming out of Maui from a local was
Yeah.
being shut off immediately. They were closing all that. So, but the locals on TikTok and on X were talking about the fact that yes, earlier that day there was a fire.
Mm-hmm.
They put it out. The fire
Mm-hmm.
was out, and then suddenly there was this huge fire that was out of control that just seemed to come out of nowhere. And there's been all sorts of different stories about the police just taking orders. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god, it's just insane because of the catastrophic damage and loss of life and everything taking place. This, just to be honest, just to keep it 100 with you guys, this video might even get taken down just
Oh,
because
okay.
YouTube is not playing any games whatsoever with this situation. So we walk a fine line here, because we've been not deplatformed, but we have had strikes on us before. We're talking
Yep.
about this type of stuff that the people in power, whoever they are, they control the narrative, and they want to control every part of it. The problem is they don't control all of it. There's still X, there's still TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and there's still stories flowing from the locals. So anyway, so it's just, I almost feel like it's not even worth talking about this, because I know that this going on YouTube is probably going to get taken off. But
Well, you know what?
we'll,
We're gonna make some clips on this. Sorry to cut you off, brother, but we'll definitely put it on TikTok, since I feel like we've actually started making headways. We actually do have a TikTok page where we make small clips over some of our past previous episodes, some of the stuff that we find unique, funny, whatever. Some of the cool stuff that we feel was cool to talk about on the podcast. It's on there. Definitely follow us on TikTok, Beyond Expedition Pod. That's the tag name off for that. But to go along with that, right? The biggest thing that I've heard personally, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, jump in whenever you want.
yeah.
This had to do with real estate, that these high level people, or these elites, what they call them, right? With money, they wanted all this real estate that, of course, people, residents of Maui in that specific area own. Now, you can't just go ahead. I mean, you can offer them maybe whatever price you want to put on that to what you feel is worth for that property. And it's up to them to either accept or reject, right? But what's another way of, let's say, something happening in the lines of, let's just accidentally make something happen for this to be cleared out, and we can take or repossess that land, or somehow manage to go ahead and just, that's ours now. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the biggest one that I've heard so far.
No, and at the end of the day, that's essentially what this is all about.
Okay.
Basically, they want their own island. The rich people want their own island. And what I'm seeing happen in Maui, I think the Native Americans in America saw this happen to their land. They used to be able to hunt abundantly. They used to have the whole country to themselves to be able to hunt and live off the land and do everything until the military came in and everybody was just taking orders. And you saw a genocide that people don't talk about. They'll talk about a genocide that took place in the 1940s in Germany. They'll talk about that, but they won't talk about the genocide that took place on this. We've had two sorts of genocides. One was slavery, one was the taking of land of the Native Americans. And if they didn't convert to Christianity, they would kill them. They wiped them all out.
Crazy.
And then put them in the worst possible pieces of land and called them reservations. It's insane. And so Maui is no different, because those locals that are there have been there for generations. These are local Hawaiians that their ancestry goes all the way back before Hawaii was a state. They were their own kingdom, ran by their own government, until America came over and took it over. Put their plantations on there, yada, yada, yada. So now, in true American fashion, they want to take that land, and they want to get big dollar investors and developers in there to just get fire sale prices. And what better way than to eliminate entire families that can't even make a claim on the property anymore?
That's crazy, man. And I'm sure these people, if they're playing the game right, they definitely found their ways or loopholes to get into this, or to make that happen, right? Because let's face it, they have lawyers behind them. They have all these people to work behind them, so they know like what strings to pull in order for that to, to reach their goal in regards to gaining that land. I mean, that doesn't seem too far-fetched for me. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, if you have that much money, who were they saying that they own some major homes? And this is the craziest thing of it all those homes that these people, these locals owned, right, got just completely incinerated, right?
Yeah.
But the home stuff, like, but yeah. So aside from like everybody else, I'm just gonna name a few. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Jump on me, because I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly. Jeff Bezos' house was fine. Oprah Winfrey's house was fine. All these houses that were just at a massive scale, just that were owned by obviously the higher up people, right? They were completely just unscathed, not touched, nothing whatsoever. Somehow they managed to just be okay.
Yep. Some Hunger Games type stuff where they pick and choose where the crises are going to occur.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, and I don't know if you've heard about the blue roofs, the blue cars, the blue umbrellas, the blue beach towels, all of those sort of how making it through the blazes.
Oh no, I haven't heard about this. School me.
Oh man,
Oh, let's
so
dive
this
in. No,
is
no, no. Let's
this
go.
is the territory that
Uh,
might get us in some trouble.
like I said,
However,
canceled.
so so on X, there's this
Okay.
video that is circulating widely,
Okay.
and it's where there is a picture of a laser, or it's a video of someone using a laser to cut through different colored fabrics.
Mhm.
So he starts with the red, goes right through the red, goes through the yellow, right through the yellow, goes to the blue, not doing anything to the blue, going over the blue, nope, nope, goes to the white, kind of going through the white. Okay, does it again, same thing. Blue is unaffected by this laser. So then there's another video that goes out and it shows the houses and the cars and the umbrellas and the beach towels that are all blue, that those are the only things unaffected by this fire.
Insane.
So, and then there's
Interesting.
another video that shows like an aerial view, and they
Mhm.
were showing where the potential lasers could have hit. So they were showing the hit point, and there's just clusters all over, and the only clusters are within that area of everything that burned. There were nothing that went across the street where all the rich people's houses were. And 85% of Lahaina was incinerated.
That's
So,
insane, dude.
and then the police, like I said, I was kind of trailing off at the story just because I was worried about what was going to happen here. But the locals are telling stories where they're trying to put their videos of what happened
Mhm.
out on YouTube, and YouTube is just immediately taking them off. And so these people are figuring out other ways to share their stories, and basically what you're seeing is people confronting the police. The police are like, "Hey, I'm just taking orders," and what the police are doing is just making them go in circles. They're not letting them leave where everything is burning. So they're literally keeping the people in the burn area. They're not letting them escape Lahaina, and the police are saying, "Nope, we're just following orders." So if this is
Dude, that's
true,
crazy.
if this is true, there, there is going to be hell and fury to pay for all of those people involved.
Yeah.
And I want to know exactly what happened. Why did they shut off the water? Why didn't they shut off
Mhm.
the electricity? Why were the police keeping them in? They had no access. Why, when FEMA got in and then the locals were trying to give food, the FEMA was taking all of that away and say, no, we're not trained on that. We're only trained on what we have to do. Taking the food, taking the water, taking everything away to help any locals.
That's insane, dude. I mean, and that goes beyond the barrier of like, dude,
Evil.
help thy neighbor. Like if you see someone going through a tough time, I mean, the common thing for me, again, this is just me, little Eduardo, you would help somebody in need, right? That's just if you're
Mm-hmm.
a good person, you would try to help somebody. But for somebody to come along and just say, no, we're not trained on that, throw that away or whatever, dispose of it,
Yeah.
and you got to follow proper protocol. And then aside from the police not even letting him kind of step outside from that area where he just got engulfed in flames, it seems it raises a lot of eyebrows. You know what I'm saying? And we're just, I mean, like, it's just like you, right? I just want to know these answers to these questions. That's all I'm asking. Why is it that YouTube all of a sudden is just trying to like put a pause or put a mute button on everything that's coming out from there? You know what I'm saying? But thankfully, I mean, dude, shout out Elon Musk for even having that platform and buying it
Yeah.
out so people can actually upload videos and really see it from bird's eye view from the people down on the ground then and there,
Yep.
when it's happening all in real time. It's crazy, man. No, there's a lot of stuff that I keep seeing within the interwebs about just regarding this, man. It's just a lot of people really want to speak the truth on just really what's going on, but it seems like you're saying that they're trying to really kind of put a cap on it, man. It's
It's
crazy to me.
it's just
Crazy.
wild because then even, and the people of Lahaina just wanted answers. They wanted help. They wanted real help. And when FEMA came there, FEMA was taking $1,000 a night um rooms and at the hotels, taking up all of the space. The people of Lahaina needed the hotel space. The
Yeah.
government was willing to pay $1,000 a night for the FEMA helpers, but the most they were giving the locals $700 max. max. And then we're still giving all this money to Ukraine in the billions,
Insane.
It
Insane.
just, none of this makes sense other than there is an evil plot. Evil. And Hawaii is a blue state. So you would think that, Biden would take care of his own. No, he goes there and he's telling jokes. He's telling jokes to the people about how he had a house fire, a kitchen fire that almost took out his 67 Corvette, as if that was an entire family that just lost every
Everything.
loved one, every piece of history they ever had, children, mothers, fathers, dogs, everything. They lost their whole life savings in one probably planned out fire. I don't know.
That's crazy, man. No, that and that's yeah, just follow along with that, right? Oh man, it's just this should be one of those wake up calls for everybody that obviously the president or the government, whatever way you want to put it, they don't really care. They don't. And just that's a prime example right there. Like he specifically, like you're right. They're sending millions and millions and billions to Ukraine. What about our own people? What about the people here on this soil? Nothing.
Yeah.
Like just kick rocks.
I mean, at some point, they are trying to get us in the most defenseless position possible. Why do you think they're trying so hard to strip away the Second Amendment?
Divide and
they
conquer,
know,
my friend.
They are trying everything they can to make us to get those guns. The only ways that we have to support ourselves against tyrants, and that is in the amendment, in the Constitution. It is there to protect us against tyrants. And right now, those elites, those people, those rich men north of Richmond are really towing the line on tyranny. They are really getting close. And I think a lot of Americans, their eyes are opening to the tyranny that is happening right before our eyes. And I think a lot of Americans are getting very close to defending themselves.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, and you see it with all this stuff too. Like not only that, right? But there's a couple of videos of like even shoplifters. People are having enough of it. They're doing their own to just really jump on people to where like to really put a stop to all the stuff that's happening. Crime it's just spreading like wildfire itself. Like we're actually taking arms, against the bad. It's like good versus bad at this point, really.
Yep.
Good versus evil. You know what I'm saying? So, and you're right. I think at this point, we're already going to reach the limit to where enough's enough at this point, right? So, yeah, man, it's going to be very interesting here with the election coming up here very soon. And then, of course, we were talking a little bit before we started this episode. You said our savior, he got his mugshot out there, and to be real, I'm going to say this flat out. I really do hope he does pull this off in regards to him. If he does get at least be in the running to be president, I really hope he does make it that far. Just because that way,
there's no way he can't.
At this point, so school me. So a RICO case, they're saying this is kind of RICO. I have an uncle named Rico.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No. So tell me, what are the legalities, I guess, if you can't come back from this to where you can run for president from here on out?
That he can. The only thing that prevents him from being president, per the Constitution, is if he was what did they call January 6th? An insurrection. If he was found guilty of insurrection, well, guess what? He's not even charged with insurrection. The media has been trying to play this out like this was an insurrection, and anybody who's been drinking the DNC Kool-Aid has been calling it an insurrection. But guess what? Legally, there is nothing that calls this an insurrection. They're trying to say that he was trying to, RICO, mob type stuff, trying to get his people all in the mix to fabricate the votes in Georgia, which he didn't. He was saying there are these anomalies that we're seeing, not just Georgia, Michigan, where everybody saw the votes go straight up in between 3 a.m. I think at 3 a.m. the vote just went straight up for Biden. There's no way. There's literally no statistical possibility whatsoever that could happen. So The same thing in Georgia. Georgia, there were too many anomalies. There were too many people voting. There were too many people that were skirting the system. They were using COVID as a way to rig the election, and that was Trump's take on it, and he was calling it out. He said, and he's constitutionally protected to be able to say that. If he sees some things, he's allowed to say it per the First Amendment of the Constitution. He's legally able to say it. But because the DOJ has been weaponized, and Chuck Schumer has went out on media and told the world that you don't go against the intelligence people, the intelligence agencies, because they have 6 ways from Sunday to lock you up. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And it's wild for us, but it's also a battle cry. It's a battle cry for so many Americans right now. Americans have had enough of it. And Biden and his corrupt team are continuing to this full court press of just absolute corruption and dishonesty.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work. It's not going to work. There's too many people that our eyes are open now.
The icing on the cake for me is this. If they found cocaine in the White House and it belongs to one person that we know who it is, and it's like all this stuff they're finding out and they're questioning the Speaker of the House. Like, I'm not really a person to really follow this to the T and just really have the magnifying glass on everything. But when I see stuff that's just out of pocket, it's out of pocket. I don't know what else to say, right? But it's like they've caught Joe Biden's son dealing with China themselves and using his dad as a bargaining chip for whatever businesses. It is insane. And we don't see that. It's like we turn one blind eye and we look the other way. Like, nope, that's not happening. But it's like, dude, what do you mean? Like, you got to play it fair for everybody. If you see some just baloney, stuff happening behind closed doors, you got to call it out for what it is. I'm sorry. It is what it is, So it doesn't work like that, though, I guess. Rules for thee, not for me.
They don't want it to. The problem is they have gotten so drunk with power, they're now starting to make very big mistakes. And if you look at that mugshot of our Lord and Savior Donald J. Trump, that
he looks
if
pissed,
looks
dude.
could kill, looks could kill, that was the one. That was the one. He's saying he's going to come after every single one of you. So, and if it's not Trump, you know what? There's another rising star in the GOP. His name is Vivek. I want to say Ramaswamy. I hope I said his name right.
I seen a clip of him calling out. He's like, I'm not bought from anybody, so I'm just gonna say it like it is, and just started dropping stuff. I can't really exactly remember what he was saying, but it was going after what's our homeboy's name? The other dude, I forgot his name. Chris Christie. Talking about that. Yes, Chris Christie, right? Yeah, he was going after him. I'm like, dude, he did catch a lot of attention on that, man. So hey, hopefully he's saying like it is, man.
He called out Nikki Haley for. He says, well, I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter what you have to say because you're going to be on the board of directors for Raytheon anyway. So, I mean, and it's true. It's true. You keep this up and she will be on the board of directors for Raytheon. Guaranteed. He called it out. And the other thing he said, the thing that's going to get him in some trouble, on the same level of Trump, is he said he's going to get rid of the FBI. Yeah. And then he's going to get rid of the Department of Education. So no more indoctrination of our children. Mm-hmm. And the FBI, they know, has been corrupt from its infancy in the 1930s, 1940s. He's saying, you're over. You're done. So we have 2 picks over here. And guess what? And then on the left, right, you have RFK Jr. Right? We have some good picks, people.
Yeah, so, no, straight up. And honestly, it's a lot more than what I thought before, because at this point, it's like, who's the only person that was going to run against Biden at that point? Or that we knew it was Trump, right? But now we got Kennedy and we got the other homie too.
Kennedy's going to have a steeper climb because he has to convince the Democrats that he can go against Biden, which means that they would take Biden's name off the list. So the only way that could happen is if, say Biden is able to get caught, they are able to find irrefutable evidence that of his collusion with China, with Russia, involving his son Hunter. If they could finally finds something that could put a nail in that coffin, then
Game over.
I mean, they're going to look at Galvin Newsom from California. They're going to try to prop him up. But I think JFK is just opening up enough eyes that he might have a fighting chance, and I hope he does. But I see him more of like an outside candidate, almost like a Bernie Sanders, but Bernie was a socialist. But RFK is like an all-around American that just happens to have a D behind his name, but he is all for vaccination freedom. If you don't want to get vaccinated, he knows. He's seen the evidence with his own eyes that this stuff, autism levels have risen.
Yeah.
And he's called it out. He's called it out in front of medical professionals. Medical professionals could not debunk him because he's right. You cannot debunk the truth when you're right. So he's got it. He's got it going on. He knows his facts. So
for sure, man. Very well informed, dude.
3 big names where we have 3 solid chances of getting America back on track. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All I know is that we got to get Biden out of there. He is destroying this country. He's gutting us. He is the Trojan horse. He is the Trojan horse. He rolled in, and all of his little communist buddies fell out of the horse's stomach within our own country, opened our borders, flooded us with all this bleeding of money. And did you see that SpaceX, that Elon Musk is getting sued by the
they won't release information, right? Like they won't release all like some specific type of information. They won't. I guess he's not handing over what they want. Pretty much is how I understand it, right?
So that's what he did, right? And so then they return fire by suing SpaceX for not hiring by not hiring illegals. So now make this make sense. Make this make sense. The Department of Justice only hires Americans, right? But if you know anybody in aerospace, there is a section anytime you're working for doing anything for the military, right? It's what's called ITAR. So Elon does things that he does work for the military with SpaceX. ITAR access. You need ITAR access. If ITAR means you can only be American to do that work. So you have to be an American to do that work. So he's not hiring non-Americans. He's not hiring illegals.
Yep.
And he's getting sued by the Department of Justice for not hiring illegals.
It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah, it's so dumb. It's like you're going up against me following proper protocol for something that they're doing themselves, but it's like, why are you trying to screw me for it?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all.
It does not make sense. And it's basically, it's just saying, it's like, I don't know. It's like a girlfriend that is going to break up with you no matter what. And so whether you help her out or you don't help her out, she's still going to break up with you. She just changes the excuse.
Yeah.
Depending on what you do. That's exactly what the Biden administration, the weaponized Biden administration is doing. So when I say FJB, I mean his whole administration, everybody. Like Tupac hit him up. He wasn't just coming at Biggie.
Oh, everybody. Everybody is going to get the smoke, dude.
When I say FJB, I'm talking about everybody.
Your whole electric crew.
Everybody.
Red Wings Tupac, baby. This is where I'm going to put the Red Wings Tupac logo. Come on.
Yeah.
Nah, man, it's insane, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. But I mean, aside from that, it's more of the story. Definitely everybody do due diligence to deep dive into these potential candidates that we're going to have for runners up for the future president of the United States. Definitely do your research. Whatever you believe in, cool. But definitely just do your research in regards to who you're going to vote for, because a lot is rolling on this. I'm just saying this, and we're all in this together. And, we just got to do what we got to do at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. I mean, it's been one hell of a. It's been already 4 years, right? 4 years, 2 years?
It'll be 4 years.
This coming
2024.
Right?
Yeah, 4 years. In next January, it'll be 4 years.
It's crazy, man. Time is flying.
Amazing?
Amazing, dude. All right. Shifting gears, though, on that note, we're fans of music, Brett. You and I, right? We share some good taste in regards to some early '90s hip hop rap.
Yeah.
Most importantly, your favorite rapper, Tupac. So
one and only.
You know me, right? I like to definitely listen to different podcasts here and there and just learn something different. That's always my goal. I want to learn something different, so I'll search for whatever and just plug in my earphones and while I'm working, doing my thing, I like to just listen to podcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
I learned something new. I don't know if you know this, but it really struck me. It made me kind of sit down for me, like, damn, I wonder what if things would have gone this way, right? This is what I'm referring to, people.
Okay.
Now, if you don't know who Tupac is, living under a rock.
No,
greatest
I'm
rapper.
Seeing kids at the mall wearing Tupac shirts.
You know what's funny though? Check this out. Check this out. And this almost makes me just like, just one of them. So check this out. There was a test, right? And they're like, this dude walks around. He's like, I bet you I can find people that wear those shirts like with Metallica or Tupac or Aaliyah or Selena, and they won't even know one song of theirs. And he goes around and asks these people, and he comes to a bunch of people with Tupac shirts. Can't even name one song.
No,
I'm like, there is no way. I'm like, dude, you need to take that shirt off or turn it around or something. Dude, inside out.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That is a prerequisite. You cannot, and that goes for any band, right? Dude, if you're going to put on a Sublime shirt, the answer is What I Got. At least give their biggest name, right? Tupac, California Love. That's the biggest
easiest
name,
one.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, gosh, that's sacrilege. You can't do that.
Like I said, you might as well just tuck that shirt away, learn, do some research, listen to music, and then when you feel like you're at least familiar with that artist, then you can feel appropriate to wear it, right? But it's just like, I get it. Some people like it for the vintage look, or they just know the name, or just they've heard of them in retrospect, right? But I don't know. I just find it kind of odd. Like, why would you want to rock something that you're not really familiar with?
Yeah, what makes that cool? What makes that cool? Right? Like, oh yeah, dude, I love your Tupac shirt. Some old code. What's your favorite Tupac song? Thinking they're gonna like wow, generational gap. We can bridge the gap.
Right. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, how would you react to that, right?
And like Tupac. Oh my, he was like, dude, he was so, the stuff he was saying in 95, 96 is still relevant today. That's how prolific this man was at age 25, 24, 25.
So young. Like, it's crazy, man. But this has to do with Tupac, right?
All right.
So you're familiar, and I'm sure everybody here that listens to this podcast is familiar with the one and only Warren G. Regulators, mount up, right?
Mount up.
Okay. So he was on the podcast Drink Champs, and they were asking him all these questions because everybody likes to know the actual setting for when Death Row was the beginning stages of its peak and its highest, I guess, at its highest level during that time, in 95, 96, or 94, whatever have you, during that time, right?
Yeah, the golden era.
The golden era of rap, East versus West, however you want to name it. So now they ask him, like, how was it when you guys started the Chronic, and just, were you around when he was definitely around when Tupac was in the scene, right? But he said that he met Tupac before he joined Death Row Records. So this is Pac before All Eyes on Me, all that stuff, right? Yeah. Totally different Pac. You even said it before. He was definitely different before he joined Death Row. He said the exact same thing. And I'm like, I thought of my boy Brett. I'm like, I got to definitely talk about this with my boy Brett.
Yeah.
And he's like, Pac from Death Row to before Death Row Records, after and before, he said, very different guy. He was cool. Just, he was just full of energy, super artistic. And he said the same thing, that he produced a couple records for him for one of the soundtracks. I forgot which one specifically, but he said that they were able to, I think so. And he said that his mentality and his work ethic were just so out of this world, to where he would just finish making a beat right there off top, send it to the engineer, and Pac would just go in, boom, done. 30 minutes, just like that. Insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now fast forward, Tupac gets put in jail, sexual assault allegations, right? Rape and all that stuff.
Yep. That he did not do, by the way.
This is the time for the infamous moment where Suge Knight was looking into signing him, and they were trying to talk this deal where the supposed deal went down on him signing his name on the piece of toilet paper, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
Warren G said this exclusively. It's crazy. And this is where my mind just kind of went everywhere, right? He's like, I actually talked to Pac because who was that other dude with Shock G, and then the other cat that rapped on one of his songs? It was Shock G and this other
Bunny
gentleman
B,
from the Bay Area. No, no, no. Shock
Richie
G.
Rich.
I think it was Richie Rich. That is who it was. So they were having close connections because that's how they were talking, I guess, amongst themselves. Warren G said, "My plan before Suge got to him, I was actually gonna bail him out. We were actually gonna work together after he had got out. That was the
Wow.
plan." And I
Wow.
was like, "Oh, like how? Like, okay, let's think about it, right? Warren G as a producer, he's stepbrother to Dr. Dre, correct? I want to get that. I want to get that. I want to get that correct before I proceed with the story.
The
He's like a
stepbrother.
stepbrother, right?
Yeah, yeah. Half
So this
brother,
is a
I should
dude
say.
that was talented himself as a producer, rapper, and to think how would it have been? How would have things shifted from him avoiding the silent death row and going down the path that he ultimately went, led to his demise? But I'm gonna have something else to say about that. But how do you think things would have went for him and Pac to be together? It was almost so reminiscent to how Dr. Dre was the producer for Snoop Dogg for Doggy Style, Warren G for the producer of Tupac.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Like, and he
That's
said,
that's
he's like,
insane.
I was getting money already to bail him out. Cause at that point, the Bay Area, like Pac was around the Bay Area a lot. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming he was going to get help to get that money somehow to bail him out. He's like, but as I was getting close to doing so, Shook beat me to the punch and Shook signed the death row.
Dang,
I
man.
never knew that. I never knew that.
Wow.
That really blew my mind. So now fast forward, he said he was in the East Coast during the height of the East and West. And Biggie and him, they were, they met each other at a studio. And I guess Big wanted to holler at Warren G. And there's like, yeah, I'll chop it up with the whatever. And he was asking about like, so what's this beef with you in the West? Like, you and Pa going at it with this and that. And I guess Big was trying to really not like, he just came at it where he didn't really want to pursue it anymore. He just wanted to kind of level things out. He didn't want to, he's like, I just don't want this to end up where some guns are going to get involved and someone's going to lose their life. He was saying this verbatim.
Yeah.
And he said, the only reason why I didn't find myself getting that message and I was going to talk to Pac because he's like, I just think these two talented individuals shouldn't even be beefing. They should be collaborating because it would have been the biggest thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
who would have known? Like, these two guys at their pinnacle collaborating, right?
Yeah.
And he said the only reason why I couldn't even get to Pac is at that time his whole like just attitude changed. Like, it wasn't the same anymore. It was all just this influence that came from Death Row around the time with Bloods being involved and all that, like people behind his ear, right? Because at this point, he doesn't trust anybody. He's on this F mode of F everybody, F the world. It's me against every one single
somebody
person.
just tried to take his life, and then when they found out that the people that robbed him and tried to kill him, so basically the situation was when he got robbed at Quad Studios, it was supposed to be just a snatch and grab, but Tupac had a gun on him and he was gonna shoot back. And so as soon as they saw that he was reaching for his gun, that's when they shot him. The problem is the people that robbed Tupac also knew Biggie. And so in Pac's mind, he's looking at Biggie, who's supposed to be his friend. He's been having him, he gave Biggie the break, told Biggie, hey, you need to change your flow. Don't go with this hardcore stuff. Rap for the girls, and the guys come with him. Changed his whole style up, was being a friend to him, and his friend wouldn't even warn him about it.
Yeah.
And
I can understand definitely.
That was what was happening. And I would have found myself in a very similar situation if I'm getting robbed and you happen to know the robbers and you didn't warn me.
Yeah. Straight up. Yeah. I definitely can understand that situation. Definitely. So both of them did it, according to what Warren G was saying. Big didn't want to take it that route. He said, I just, if we're going to not be cool, it is what it is. Cool. But I'm not really trying to have this beef, just keep on pursuing further and further. And ultimately, Warren G wanted to be the peacemaker of it. He wanted to cool the storm before anything just happened at that point. But he said the reason why he couldn't, because at the time he left on a bad note with Shook and all of them at the time when Death Row was barely popping off. Just he wasn't really kind of jiving with them, and he couldn't get to Pac, and unfortunately, what happened, man. But he said he was with the whole bringing, like he wanted to squash the beef. He was really adamant about trying to settle that beef between them, and dude, I found out that he has a lot of credit to be given. I found out that Def Jam's deal, like there was a certain deal that Warren G was involved in regards to making it happen, 100 mil plus. I guess went $100 million deal went down because of Warren G at the time because he was signed to Def Jam. I didn't know that either. I did not know that.
So he was only working with Death Row on the soundtracks.
Yeah,
He had his own, and I don't know why he couldn't ever work with Death Row, so he ended up with Def Jam.
Interesting, interesting. So yeah, so he was just saying that it just couldn't happen, and then he was talking about how the Chronic came together and just how it was just so organic to where he knew Snoop. Dre at this time didn't know Snoop, and he had a couple demos with him and Snoop and Nate Dogg as 213, right?
Yeah.
And that's what caught his attention at that time because he let Dr. Dre hear one of the songs that they demoed and he liked it, and that's how organically the Chronic, and that's when they met Corrupt. Everything came together and of course delivered on what we know as the Chronic by Dr. Dre. So it's like, man, dude, to hear those stories right from the people that were actually in those rooms involved and just how everything came together, it's like you almost kind of geek out in regards to music because those albums we look upon as like one of the greatest pieces of work that's been ever done by far, and it's so hard to dethrone, right?
Yeah.
So it's just it's so awesome to hear for somebody that actually was a contributor to that, and him just saying that he just wants to give credit when credit's supposed to be due for him in regards to production. And hopefully that something can be worked out between him getting his masters back and also getting some credit because now Snoop Dogg owns Death Row. He wants some credit for that too. So I hope he does, man. I definitely hope he does for sure. And also, but on that note, with Tupac, did you know they arrested Keefe D for actually in connection for the Tupac murder?
Now I knew they served a warrant out for his arrest.
I guess from what I've seen, him. I think they arrested him, dude.
Wow. Well, he's on every interview talking about how he gave the killer the gun.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, how do you not get arrested for being involved in the murder of the most prolific music artist of our generation? You know what I mean? How do you it should have happened a long time ago, and it should have, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that his, nephew went out a different way, and he was the guy. He was the guy, and and it's just how did he make it? How did Keefe D make it so long without ever being touched?
Exactly, man. Exactly. So I'll read this little piece from here just to answer that because I'm also very curious to see if if he was truly arrested. So Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is facing imminent charges concerning Tupac's murder. The Sun reports Keefe confessed to assisting in a shooting the West Coast icon during the interview with Vlad TV, and law enforcement has built a case ready to present to the Las Vegas grand jury. Wow. Authorities stated that they're looking at first-degree murder potentially for Keefe D. The grand jury hearing will take place in private, with the jury deciding whether or not the evidence found against Keefe is sound enough to prosecute the man in September 2023. The homicide team did not enter into this investigation lightly. They knew that the world would be watching if they took any action against Keefe. They do not want to make any missteps. Dollar reports. One key aspect was building a strong case and file of evidence detailing how Keefe was one of the 4 suspects in the car, was pivotal in the actual murder, then the destruction of critical evidence. They have spent months pulling together and continue to hunt down corroborating evidence and other possible witnesses for the grand jury. A source told the publication, "We expect for this matter to become a criminal case imminently." Keefe has gloated so much about this that he has effectively talked himself into huge legal trouble. The revelation arrives a month after Las Vegas police raided a home belonging to Paula Clemens, Davis's wife. NBC News reported that the Clark County Judge Jacqueline M. Bluth authorized a warrant to Las Vegas detective Clifford Mogg to retrieve anything that could tie Davis to the Southside Crips, a Compton Street gang. During the legal search, authorities seized a 40 caliber cartridges, computers, photographs from the 1990s, and an issue of Vibe magazine featuring the late rap star. Additional items had taken the property were miscellaneous thumb drives, external hard drives, other recordings featuring Davis and other unnamed figures, and a copy of Davis's book, Compton Street Legend. In his book, Keefe D revealed he was in the white Cadillac that pulled up next to the rapper and Suge Knight during the shootout that killed Pac in 1996. The book also detailed numerous experiences as a member of the Southside Compton Crips. He described himself as one of the 2 remaining living witnesses who saw the murder up close, and the other person allegedly being Suge. The Las Vegas Review-Journal reported that Davis confessed to taking part in Tupac's killing in 2018 after being diagnosed with cancer. The search warrant that we conducted in the connection with the Tupac Shakur case, Metropolitan Police Department Lieutenant Jason Johansson said that the raid, it has been a while since the deadly September 1996 shooting. It's a case that's gone unsolved, and hopefully we can change that one day.
So you're saying KVD has cancer?
I guess that's what it said. I didn't know that either.
Wow. So I wonder if this is a weird way of him trying to get the state to pay for his cancer treatment. You know?
Oh, really? So wait,
I don't know. I mean, I'm just like, what other way? What other reason would you have to just run your mouth other than just, I mean, he's been saying this for a long time. I mean, that's everybody knew. Everybody knew that it was, Baby Lane, Orlando Anderson, that pulled the trigger, and that Keefe D was the one that handed the gun to him.
Yeah,
everybody knew that, and I don't know, but why would you? But the only reason they knew that is because Keefe D kept running his mouth, kept making all these little deals with the law, saying, "Hey, I'll tell you this, I'll tell you this," but the rules were always okay. But if you ever say anything that's gonna, directly implicate you or involve you in the Tupac murder, we can't protect you at that point. And he just, I don't know, I think he got in over his head, got too confident, too cocky, and good, they finally got him. I mean, I can't wait to see this play out. Long time, long overdue. Afeni doesn't get to see it. She doesn't get to see justice for her son. And Tupac's family, a lot of them have passed away already. They don't get to see justice for their son. So this is largely for the community themselves, that all of us, fans, at least we get to see it. But but the people that really deserve to see it are already long gone. So
I think his father's still alive, isn't he?
Who, Billy Garland?
Tupac's dad? Is that Billy Garland?
Garland is his dad.
Yeah, is he alive?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
It wasn't a part of it. It wasn't a big part of it.
Oh, no, it wasn't. No, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, no, I mean, so, but still, I'm sure it probably matters to him. So, if he's still around, he gets to see it,
Okay. But yeah, so we're going to see how that plays out. I mean, it looks like he's going to face some serious charge, man. First degree murder. Not good. No bueno.
Wow.
No, sir. But yeah, brother, I mean,
that's huge. That's huge.
It is. It's big. I mean, so far, like, I remember watching so many documentaries in regards to this case alone. Like, they were trying to crack down on who potentially did it, and they were saying that even at the time when what's his name, what's the gentleman's name for the Outlaws? He was like one of the ones that saw him.
No,
Gaddafi. Fula. Yeah. They were saying that he actually saw the person, and that he didn't want to say anything that like could potentially snitch on that person that did it. And
he got
killed.
He was willing. He was willing. So that's why he got killed a week later. And I don't know how. I don't know if it was related to it or not, but he was the only one out of everyone that told the police, "Yes, I'm willing to provide a description." And so they just never got back to him. So here he is over at his apartment in Jersey. A week later, point blank, bam,
crazy.
Done.
So that this case has been so long overdue, bro. I mean, since '96 up until now, man, it's been a hot minute. So hopefully justice is served, and we can finally close that, and just just remember the legend himself, Tupac, and just of all the good stuff that he did, all the good music that he put out. So yeah, man, that's all we can live with, left from him. So yeah, but
his music. I mean, I'll be able to live and I'll be able to listen to his music like when I'm in my nursing home. I'll be just wheeling around like, hey, can you hit him up real quick? Because I'm mad at the nurses, for not giving me my morphine. They're trying to cut me off, and I'm like, all right, so just put some hit him up on real quick.
This is the third time you've asked for your morphine shot, sir. I think you're probably way overdue for that. You're No more.
I feel pain. Hey, put on Tupac Pain right after this. Yeah.
Oh man, but
Uh,
yeah, dude. I mean, you and me both, bro. I'll still be bumping it. All
man,
Eyes on Me, classic. So it'll never get old, dude.
I do
Never get
like
old.
that though. I like that, I'm glad that Warren G came out with that kind of thing, and that is a big what if. What if, and because Warren G made some really good beats, man.
Dude, he did.
I've listened to every one of his albums that he's put out. I got every single one, and I always loved just that smooth flow that he had.
Mhm.
And Tupac, man, he just was so artistic. He ran with it, man. He ran with it. I love listening to. I was listening to the Machiavelli, the rough draft, or what do they call that? I think it was the rough draft copy,
Okay.
and so you heard it in not its final form, and there were so many songs on there that, to me, listening to it, I'm like, this is actually, like, some of these tracks are better than what they
They
released.
put out.
it,
Yeah.
it was
Hmm.
just it was just a better, more melodic flow to it, and it was awesome. I just loved it. It was just a real masterpiece, but then, yeah, man, just that one fateful night just changed
Changed
everything.
everything, man.
Everything.
And that's the thing, man. That's the one thing that really made me think, just like how things would have been if just, that situation never went the way it did. And Warren G really, was the one to bail him out, steered
Yeah.
him in a different direction, just focused on music, putting music out. But then it takes away, like, he wouldn't have had All Eyes on Me. He wouldn't have really made that, bigger impact that he probably made with everything going on with him having that story. Like, he was saying that he just felt like his time was running out. Like, he would say that himself, that time was running out. I feel like I'm not going to be here for that long. And he was just pumping music left and right. Right.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah, it's almost like he
yeah,
knew.
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy when you really listen to the story and him in interviews talking about that. It's just he lived a great dude. He lived just the movie about his life in general was just like his life was a movie, man. Straight up,
Yeah,
it's
it
like
really was.
from him growing up and becoming what he was. Powerful, so powerful,
He
such a
really
powerful
was
voice,
that
man.
rose that grew from the concrete, like,
Dude,
you've heard that poem, right,
yeah,
that he wrote.
yeah,
Yeah, he really was that. And I think that's why people marveled at him, is because they're like, wow, people that come from where you come from are not supposed to be able to be this artistic, this good, this intelligent, this prolific.
yeah,
He but he had it. He just had it, and it sucks because, I mean, not sucks. It sucks for, like, Eminem, right? Because Eminem wants so bad to be the best rapper and number one or whatever, but he will never possess that it factor that Tupac had. And I think a lot of it was Tupac was just genuine. I think Eminem, I've found him to shift his opinion on things, and he wants to, like, be accepted so much by the hip hop community that he has changed his whole image just to tailor it to where they will have it. Whereas Tupac never did. He didn't change
yeah,
nothing. He was like, this is who I am. This is how my family raised me. And this is what you're going to get, you know,
yeah,
where, and I think that right there, it comes out in your music, where you can hear that shift in personality change in Eminem, where he was, coming out, trying to be the funny rapper, yada, 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 super talented. I'm not going to take that from him, but he shifted. Now he wants to be this hardcore gangster. I'm going to get 50 Cent on board. Now I'm going to get in a beef with Ja Rule, and, trying
yeah.
so hard to be hard. But it's like, dude, you got way too many bodyguards to be taken seriously. You ain't doing nothing to no one in MGM. You ain't doing it. You ain't doing it. You know what I mean? So he'll never be number one for that factor alone. And he could never be number one with Tupac in the picture. He may sell
Yeah,
more units. He may be more lyrical. He may be able to do all, but he'll never be Tupac. There's only
yeah.
one.
There's only
And,
one,
we'll
man.
give him number two. If he wants to be better than Biggie and whatever, like, fine, whatever. Biggie didn't make the impact that Tupac did. For the East Coast, I think he did. So
Yeah.
even to the East Coast cats, they're probably not even gonna give Eminem number two. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, man.
I don't know,
Yeah. No, but
but
it's true, man. I just hold him pocket the number one. I think to me, he's number one in my book personally. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh, it always will be. Always will be.
yeah,
There is not a day that goes by where I can't, like, I just always find myself wanting to listen to something, because even with his posthumous albums, that that I can still listen to those ones, right? But the
yeah.
ones I really like, the ones that Me Against the World,
Against the
All
world,
Eyes
yeah.
on Me, and Machiavelli. I can, like,
Machiavelli,
those three are the ones that I can listen to, because that was the polished Pac, right? On the Strictly album, there were a lot of good. Like, I loved Brenda Had a Baby. I love all
yeah,
those. Like, wow, like he's developing as a person, but he was still developing. You could see that development,
yeah,
and to Apocalypse Now, very raw, very like, okay,
yeah,
yeah, someday he's gonna be something. He's doing that, and he had news because someone in Texas shot some highway patrolman, and they tried to blast his name because they said the guy that shot the Texas highway patrolman was listening to Tupacalypse Now, and so
yeah.
now they're stomping on his CDs, and it's so. But by the time he was polished, was all Me Against the World, then All Eyes
Yeah,
on Me came out, and
yeah.
then Machiavelli, and it was just like those three right there, I could listen
Peak.
to
Yeah.
for the rest of my life.
Yeah, man. I agree. I agree. It's seeing the evolution as a person and just see the person evolve and grow. And through each specific time of his life, like from being like shot first time, being paranoid, standing his ground still, not giving, not giving a fuck and all that, going to jail again, feeling betrayed, anger, everything, the
Yeah, man.
culmination, gets out, death row, fuck everybody. It's me against all you now.
Yeah, man. Now I got
There
shook.
it is. And now I
Now
got
I got
shook.
shook.
That's all I need. And that's like I need to, like, I swear when we have our own studio, I definitely want to have the posters, right? The iconic one where they're all, all in black and
Hmm.
the death row chain, iconic. But the other one too that I want to get is where Shook's with a cigar and Pac, like, you think he's holding his chain, and then you see Snoop Dogg in the back, and it's like that was the face of death row at one point. Before, obviously, this is after the fact when Dre left and all that, but still, you had Snoop and Pac. That was
Yeah.
like, that's all you needed right
I
there,
know,
man.
man. I
That's
know.
crazy.
And they could have found, I mean, there was plenty of production talent. They could have found a production. And you know what? That was at that time where production was changing anyway.
Yeah.
So, Dre, I mean, dude, when Dre tried to do that Firm album, he tried to go East Coast with it. You know,
He told me
like,
that.
no. Like,
That does not work.
yeah, yeah, sorry, not sorry. You know, let's let some East Coast producers come on in.
Yeah. It's
But
almost like it's just made for it. Like, you can just tell, like, an East Coast beat is an East Coast beat, and then a
yeah,
West Coast beat is a West Coast beat. So it's like
exactly.
you just stuff shouldn't be messed with when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Some people can make it work, some people can't.
And you can do some collabs, like when Wu Tang, when Method Man came over on that All Eyes on Me track,
Yeah.
and you had all
Mm-hmm.
these East Coast cats. I mean, the Outlaws themselves were all East Coast rappers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Out of Dirty Jers, and so they just had that formula at Death Row during that era that they could, Daz was making those beats. They had Warren G. They had DJ Quick. He was
Mm-hmm.
doing his thing, doing the beats. I mean, so there was plenty of talent, man.
Johnny J. I think Johnny
Johnny
J was one of
J,
them.
he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
making the
yeah.
beats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there was like Dre, I'm not taking anything from him, right? But he was like very, you know, he didn't like even if you look at the albums that they produce, like the Eminem albums, whatever, he didn't produce every single track on Eminem's album, right? He just produced,
Mm-hmm.
he found the good one. Like, this is the one we're gonna put on the radio, you
Mm-hmm.
know, California Love, this is the one we're gonna put on the radio. But a lot of these other songs that you're gonna love are gonna be from Daz, gonna be from Quick, gonna be from Johnny J, and they're gonna hit just as hard.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think Dre in that sense was a little bit overrated, but not to hate. I mean, he was good, but he just, his process was so slow. And if you're trying
Yeah.
to pump out albums, and you're waiting on Dre, yeah, all right,
You might as well a couple
let's
years.
get some other guys in here. Let's
Yeah.
get
Well,
some other
straight up.
guys.
You had more picks from the litter at that point. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
weren't just dealing with like a one person that was in sole control of it. You had a bunch of other people that could probably do as good of a job or possibly even better. So
Yep.
yeah, man. Nah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. It's always good
Yeah.
to dive back down,
Feels
dive into
good.
the time, into the time travel
The
machine and talk
Wayback
about that stuff.
Machine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and discuss when it comes to music and stuff like that. Stuff that we didn't know, and then comes out to the light. Like, damn, you makes me think. Like, damn, if things would have been different. Damn,
Uh-huh.
that would have been crazy to see. But of
Yep.
course, brother, I mean, other than that, that's pretty much what we have on the agenda for today. Of course, I think this one was a solid one. And aside from that, if you have anything else to talk about, the floor is yours as much as it's mine, brother.
No, man. I think we hit it. I think we hit it all. Check mark.
Okay.
Check mark.
Check my
Check mark.
all right, peeps. So as always, definitely, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, if this is your first time you ever come across us, definitely follow us. Definitely give us a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It would definitely help a lot. And then also follow us on Instagram. You have an Instagram account, definitely follow us as well. Plug in the QR code down below, scan it with your phone, take you directly there. And also with that, if you haven't followed us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube page, like, comment, all that good stuff. And yeah, just check out a lot of our past year's content. So we'll catch you the next one. Have a fantastic Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace, and we love you.